I'm 33.
You're old as
And if I could jump into a time machine and go back and speak to my 20-year-old self, I could have saved myself so much time, money, anxiety, and effort with these 15 lessons about life that I learned along the way. So let's dive right in. Okay, so after going back in time and telling myself to buy as much Bitcoin as I could stockpile, the first lesson I would tell myself is that extraordinary results require extraordinary efforts. If you do what everybody else is doing, you will get the same results as everybody else, which is by definition average. This is the fast track to a mediocre life. Instead, you can achieve extraordinary results if you put in more effort, go against the grain, and question conventional thought. More important than anything, you need to strive to be the hardest worker in the room if you want to get ahead of the pack.
I like to say be the hardest worker in the room.
We are all the hardest workers in the room.
Lesson 2, no one cares. In your 20s, you might be concerned about other people's opinions of you, but the fact of the matter is that no one cares about you. People are way too busy thinking about their own problems and circumstances and their own insecurities to worry about you as much as you think. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you can let go of this useless worry and move on. But you didn't think about that, did you? No, because you only think about yourself. Sorry, that was a bit aggressive. Third lesson, not everyone is gonna like you, and that's okay. Not everyone likes pineapple on pizza. Some people want plain old pepperoni, and that's fine. But that doesn't make pineapple pizza bad. It just means that people have different preferences, and what is cherished by one person might be detested by the next. And people who dislike Hawaiian pizza are wrong. Besides, if you don't have anyone talking shit about you, then you're probably not being true to yourself and standing up for what you believe in. Being a people pleaser guarantees that you will not please the most important person you have to answer to, and that's yourself. Lesson 4 is time goes by fast, so use it wisely. Today, right now, you are the youngest you will ever be, and your time perception of each year will seemingly go by faster and faster and faster. When you're 4 years old, 1 year is 25% of your life. But when you're 20, 1 year is 5% of your life. And each year, this experience of time starts to accelerate. So don't take for granted the time you have. You're rich with it in your 20s, but that doesn't mean that it should be wasted. Instead, it should be cherished, for it's the most valuable asset you possess. If you were to go to the hospital bed of a dying 90-year-old billionaire, you better bet that they would give up their entire fortune to trade places with you, or even get 1 more year. And looking at it from this perspective shows really the value of your youth. Money can always be made, time can't. Lesson 5 is to take care of your body. You only get one body for life. And it's easy to take your health for granted when you're young, spry, healthy, and full of piss and vinegar. But when you're injured or sick, it becomes blatantly apparent that without a healthy body, nothing else in your life matters. If your body doesn't work, forget it. Everything else has to take a back seat. The fact is that we live in a physical world, and your body is your mode of transportation and your interpretation of the world. On top of just staying healthy, it's actually really fulfilling to push your physical limits and build your body to its maximum potential. The great philosopher Socrates is quoted as saying, "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable." So my advice is to build these healthy habits in your 20s or even earlier so that you can have a long, healthy life. Creating the habit when you're younger is much easier than starting when you're older. Working out for me requires pretty much zero discipline because I've been doing it since I was 12, and it feels like it's automatically programmed into me to work out in some form or fashion every day. Oh, and curls for the girls, right? Lesson 6. Take immediate action. Successful people possess a bias to action. This means that they have almost no lag between an idea and them acting upon it. If you want to succeed in life, you need to realize that there's no better time than now to get up and do the thing that you've been putting off. There's so many ways procrastination can rear its lazy head in a sneaky way, such as analysis paralysis, fear of failure, or I'm waiting for the right time. But these utterances need to be recognized for exactly what they are. They're excuses. I've definitely struggled with procrastination at some points in my life, and I found it helpful to just start with a task with low expectations instead of over-planning indefinitely for perfection or the perfect time. As you get older, you'll regret more of what you didn't do than what you did do. And if you've managed to make it this far in the video, you should definitely take immediate action and like this video and subscribe to the channel. At this point in time, we're at 90 subscribers, and I've got a personal goal of hitting 1,000. So please join me on my crusade to grow the channel. Also, once you're finished the video, don't forget to tell me in the comment section below which lesson resonates with you the most. Lesson 7, create a financial plan and stick to it as soon as possible. If you want your future self to thank you, you have to create a financial plan that is going to set you up for success. And I think functionally, this might be one of the biggest lessons. Your 20s are a perfect time to live frugally and avoid lifestyle creep as your income steadily rises. You should practice frugality by renting a cheap place, sharing a house with roommates. You're gonna want to limit how much you're eating out and how much money you blow on, random things that aren't necessities. Learn how to save money and invest it aggressively. And for God's sake, avoid any and all consumer debt, because bad debt is like a monetary prison that can be very difficult to escape and can hamper your ability to succeed in a slow and insidious way. Carrying too much debt can hold you back from being able to purchase a house, or it can make you feel obligated to stay and work at a shitty job you hate because you have credit card payments to make or interest to keep up on. I would recommend increasing your financial literacy by reading some basic investment books or working with a financial advisor if you feel you need the help. Compound interest is such a powerful concept that is best paired with time. Investing just $100 every 2 weeks would give you around $40,000 if invested in the S&P 500 after 10 years. The more money you can set aside for investing, the better off you're gonna be. Lesson 8, develop a strong mindset.
Yeah, buddy!
Forge an unbreakable mindset. And how do you do that, you might ask? Well, you build an unbreakable mindset by doing hard things and not quitting. And it's really that simple. Understand that everything is temporary, or this too shall pass, as they say. That means pain is temporary, but so is joy. Our emotions are fleeting, so don't give them too much power. Acknowledge them for what they are, and then keep moving. Practice discipline, and understand that your mental diet is just as important as your food diet. Also, check yourself for victim mentality and useless complaints. A strong mindset is the rock-solid foundation of everything else in your life.
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
Lesson 9, stay clear of toxic relationships. You have to choose your partner wisely, because your relationships are gonna make or break you. So you have to make sure that your partner isn't gonna be holding you back or making it harder for you to fulfill your potential. If you view yourself as a person of worth, then you need to set the same standard for your partner. Don't just settle for whatever you can get. I spent most of my 20s single. I like to think it was by choice. And I did this because I didn't think there were many women that would be supportive of the amount of time I was devoting to work and training and personal projects. And I had a standard in my mind for the woman that I would want to one day settle down with. And I didn't want the temptation to slow down if their support started to waver. To me, a partner should be like a super close teammate with shared values who's striving towards the same overarching vision as you, but also gives you enough space to achieve your own personal goals. A great partner will complement your weaknesses with their strengths and vice versa. Lesson 10, take risks. Your 20s are a time where you can afford to take risks and really chase your ambition. You most likely won't have a family yet, and your responsibilities are gonna be at an all-time low. You can bounce back from most failures at this age, so don't be afraid to try new things, get some random jobs. Go work on a cruise ship, backpack around Southeast Asia, start a business, enter a boxing fight, start a band, join a circus, overthrow the government.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Maybe that last one was misplaced, but worst case scenario, you lose everything. But being in your 20s, you're not far from the start. So it's easy to just get up, dust yourself off, and get back on this bucking bronco called life. Lesson 11, Don't be afraid to let go of friendships that no longer serve you. If you have friends that are constantly putting you down or holding you back in any way, then you need to reevaluate why you're still hanging out with this person. It's often said that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. So make sure that your friends have traits that you actually want to pick up. And watch out for unambitious freeloaders that are jealous of your success, or they just want to party and mope around. You want to surround yourself with winners and mentors that you can model yourself after. Behavior can be contagious, so you want to catch the right ones by forging friendships with people who have traits and behaviors that you want to emulate. Lesson 12, never stop learning. Just because you're out of school doesn't mean that you should stop learning. I think that you should make a commitment to become a lifelong learner. Read all the classic books on topics you're interested in, learn about history and philosophy, study opposing views, research autodidactism, which is the practice of teaching yourself through your own efforts and resources rather than through the more traditional formal instruction route. Research and obtain the top certifications in whatever discipline you're working in. Take college and university education, but only so long as it pertains to an ends that you want to reach. You don't want to just go out and get some liberal arts degree that's not going to help you. This will ensure that you're always bettering yourself and will make you a more capable person. Lesson 13, no one is coming to save you. You have to be the hero in your own story and the architect of your fate. No one is going to hand you the keys to your dream house. No one is going to give you a big fat check for $1 million. You aren't going to have the woman of your dreams come and pick you out of the crowd. Maybe you do, you'll be lucky. It's rare. You have to look yourself in the mirror and realize that if you want something out of this life, you have to go out and get it yourself. Lesson 14, be fully present with family and friends. You never know when your last conversation with a loved one will take place. So with that in mind, don't hold grudges. Hug your family members and realize that they won't always be around. Don't allow yourself to be in a position of regret were you to lose someone that you care about. We have a finite existence in this world, and that's what makes our time spent with friends and family so precious. It is said that by age 20, most people have spent 90% of the time they will ever spend with their parents, with the remaining 10% spread out over the next several decades. And given this somewhat harsh statistic, you should seek to maximize the time you have with family while you still can. Lesson 15, don't worry about feeling lost. It's super common not to know what you want to do with your life in your 20s. I was definitely there. My advice for someone in this boat is to try as many things as possible. I took a lot of shitty jobs that showed me exactly what I didn't want to do, and by process of elimination, I sort of kind of stumbled my way through until I discovered my strengths and how to utilize them effectively in the marketplace. And getting this list down to just 15 lessons was actually pretty hard. I'd be curious to hear down in the comment section below which lesson resonates with you the most, or what lessons have you learned in your 20s that might be helpful for someone in the younger generation. Anyways, that's all for the video. I'm out.